Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Digging for treasures in the mountains with Reba, with a profit of millions of times at the beginning. Su-Han travels through parallel worlds and gains the divine treasure hunting system. Encountering Reba in the deep mountains, take her to the first shovel and dig out millions of amber. The more treasures are dug up, the rarer they become. Isn't that right? That's how millions of insects were dug out. The anchor is really amazing, he can even dig out 100-year-old wild ginseng. Wait. This light is so dazzling, Nema. Isn't it worth millions of dollars in dog hair gold? Crouching trough. Isn't this a nuclear bomb? Stop it, anchor. Don't touch it with your shovel. As Su-Han dug up more and more treasures, which became more and more outrageous, Reba, who followed him, became numb. Can you still become the world's richest person by digging for treasure? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. What to do when picking up Reba Pangci. Online. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brothers, it's time for the happiest treasure digging time every day. Believe me, today will definitely not be an Air Force. Su-Han, full of fighting spirit, waved his hand towards the camera and walked into the mountains. This is one of the 100,000 Sichuan mountains, with endless forests and few human traces. Su-Han walked among them, his gaze occasionally wandering around. He is an outdoor anchor, and his daily live broadcast is about digging treasures. However, he was not very lucky. For a month in a row, all he dug out were stones. However, due to its high appearance and alternative live streaming methods, it has still attracted the attention of many netizens. The number of online viewers in the live broadcast room remains around 1,000 every day. Here we go again. The familiar recipe and taste, there's no need to think, Lao Su must still be in Air Force this time. New here, can this anchor really dig up treasures? Who do you question? We, Old Su, can dig anything except for the treasure we can't find. Good guy, I'm just a good guy. After glancing at the barrage of netizens, Su-Han smiled and looked around before saying, "This is it. I think there must be treasures here." Say it. Su-Han inserted the shovel into the soil, and then lifted it up. A large piece of soil was turned out. At this moment, a voice rang out in Su-Han's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for continuously mining for 30 days, activating the divine level treasure mining system. Ding! Open the beginner's gift pack and congratulate the host on getting a chance to use the level 1 treasure hunting radar. May I ask if the host has enabled radar scanning? System activated. Su-Han felt a sense of joy in his heart. It's not easy. A month ago, he traveled to this parallel world and obtained the treasure mining system. But to start the system, you need to dig for treasure continuously for a month. After a month of non-stop treasure hunting, he has finally been activated. With an excited mood, Su-Han quickly understood the functions of the system. Treasure hunting radar. Scan can be turned on once a day, and once turned on, it can scan all valuable treasures within the range. Including but not limited to various antiques, gemstones, minerals, special skills, and potions to enhance physical fitness. Consume different reputation values based on the scanning range. The level 1 treasure hunting radar scans a radius of 1 kilometer and consumes 1 million reputation points. The level 2 treasure hunting radar scans a radius of 2 kilometers and consumes 2 million reputation points. The level 3 treasure hunting radar scans a radius of 3 kilometers and consumes 3 million reputation points. Level 4 treasure hunting radar scanning. Su-Han glanced at his reputation. Only a meager 30,000. The level 1 treasure hunting radar requires a reputation value of 1 million, and its current reputation is definitely beyond reach. Fortunately, the beginner gift package has given a chance to use it. Su Han breathed a sigh of relief and then thought to himself, turn on scanning. In an instant, a light blue screen appeared in front of Su Han, with him as the center, a wave of energy continuously spreading and scanning towards the surroundings. But in just over 10 seconds, the scan ended. 5 golden dots appeared before his eyes. Without a doubt, these golden lights represent treasures. As for what the treasure is, he doesn't know. But it definitely has value. Suan just needs to go and dig them out now. Hey! What's wrong with Lao Su? He's not digging anymore. Shouldn't it be digging up something good? Anyone can dig up treasures, but Lao Su, it's impossible. Suan glanced at the barrage and smiled, ignoring it. He identified the location of the first golden light, which was on another hill not far from him. Brothers, the feng shui here is not good. Let's dig in another place. We can definitely ship next time. Su Hanchao greeted the live broadcast room with a bullet scream, then shouldered the shovel and walked straight to the location of Jingguang. At the same time, on the other side of the mountain, Reba and her assistant Lingling strolled through the mountains and forests, breathing in the fresh air. During this period, Reba had just finished filming and felt a bit stressed. With the advice of her assistant, she came to the mountains and forests to experience the atmosphere of nature and relax. In order to avoid paparazzi and fans, the two of them did their homework and chose to camp in such a rare mountain. At this moment, Reba was wearing a Johnny Turtle jacket, her bulging chest propping up the two eyes of the turtle, and her lower body was wearing a pair of hot pants, revealing her snow-white thighs. Under the sunlight, she was dazzling white. Due to the hot weather, after walking for a while, Hot Ba was sweating profusely, soaking his clothes tightly against his skin, revealing his proud figure. At this point, Assistant Lingling said, Reba, do you still have water? Give me a bottle. It's too hot today, I've finished drinking. Okay. Reba nodded, opened her backpack, and prepared to fetch water. However, just took out the water and handed it to Lingling. Reba suddenly realized that something important to her was missing. I only changed it in the morning and put it in a black plastic bag. Why is it missing? Reba looked anxious as she searched inside her bag, trying to recall. That's something she's very private about, and she can't be picked up by anyone. But after flipping through the bag, I couldn't find it. Is it difficult to fall into the mountains? Chapter 2. Digging to Fat Times. I'll give you a number. 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rebe looked anxious and said to her assistant Lingling, Lingling, something seems to have fallen into the mountains. You go back first, and I'll come find you after I finish searching for it. After speaking, he ran straight out with his long legs. Hey! Reba! As soon as Lingling shouted, there was no sign of Reba in front of her, and she had no choice but to go down the mountain and go back on her own. Brothers, we're going to the treasure trove soon. Ha! How come there are traces of people camping here? More than 10 minutes later, Suan followed the golden light prompt scanned by the system and arrived at a mountain. There were traces of people having picnics here, the grass had been cleared by humans, and a small bonfire was also seen. However, looking at the traces of the bonfire extinguishing, people should have been away for some time. Suan didn't pay much attention either, his gaze exploring around him. Quickly, the treasure golden light was discovered in a thicket. Before thinking about the introduction of the system, each treasure's value would not be less than 1,000. Su Han felt a little excited and excitedly said to the audience in the live broadcast room, Brothers, that's it. I feel like there must be something good in this bushes. I've heard old Su say there's something good more than 100 times, but it seems like it never works. Originally, Lao Su had a chance to dig up treasure, but after saying these words, guess what? We can't find it. I cough while others are digging for treasure, and it must be Lao Su. This smell is called authentic. No one in the live broadcast room believed that Su-han could dig up treasures. See the situation. Su-han's lips curled slightly. Air Force. That's impossible. It's time for you to see what a true treasure digger is. Think about it. Su-han starts to split the bushes at his feet with a shovel. Suddenly, a black plastic packaging bag was exposed inside. Seeing the black bag, Su-han's eyes lit up and he was pleasantly surprised, saying, "Brothers. It's shipped." In Su-han's sight, the black plastic bag was shining with dazzling golden light. No, Lao Su, isn't the treasure you're talking about the black plastic bag. Perhaps in others' eyes, plastic bags may not be considered treasures, but in Lao Su's eyes, they are full of treasures. After all, what Lao Su dug before was all stones. Old Su. You guys have taken the bamboo shoots. You've taken all the bamboo shoots on the mountain. Su-an chuckled lightly, ignored the barrage, and bent down to pick up the black bag. Why is it so light? I weighed it in my hand and found that the bag was very light in weight, and it was still soft when held in my hand. Su-an didn't hesitate and opened the plastic bag directly. To put it that way, when the audience in the live broadcast room saw this behind the scenes, they all held their breath and looked into it, afraid of missing the details. As the bag was slowly opened by Su-han, a touch of pink appeared in the eyes of Su-han and the audience, with white lace edges inside and a cute bow inside. As the bag is fully opened, Su-han was completely stunned. What? What is this? Is this a treasure? It's just a chubby one. And it looks like it's still used. Where is the agreed treasure? System, you're lying to me. Su-han has some doubts about life. The audience in the live broadcast room laughed and flipped back and forth. I'll go. Lao Su, what are you digging up? Fat. Ha ha ha. Old Su, is this the treasure you're talking about? It's indeed a treasure for LSP. Digging for treasure and gaining weight, Lao Su, you're the first one. That's it. The show's full effect. Don't tell me, I have already recorded the screen, and I will send TikTok tonight. Make Lao Su famous. Watching the barrage in the live broadcast room, Su-an's eyes twitched slightly, and he didn't expect the treasure indicated by the system to be a chubby one. It's simply off guard. Su-han cursed out unlucky and was about to throw down the black plastic bag in his hand when suddenly a system prompt appeared in front of him. Discovering treasures. Original lace weight gain. Weighing 50 grams, worth 100,000 yuan. Sleeping slot. What kind of thing? Is this gain worth 100,000 yuan? Su-an's hand trembled in fear, staring at Pangci and feeling outrageous in his heart. Can a chubby one be worth 100,000 yuan? Is this TM gilded? Or is it true that in the eyes of LSP, this fat gain is worth 100,000 yuan? Su-han's face was full of doubts about life. He took Pangci out of the black bag with a suspicious gaze. Raise your hands and carefully observe in the sunlight. I want to see if this chubby one really hides gold. It can sell so expensive. Su-han just lifted Pangci up. At this very moment, anxious-looking Reba descended the mountain slope and happened to see Su-han holding Pangci in front of her. Suddenly stunned. Two people with four eyes facing each other. Su-han was stunned for a moment. The next second, Reba exclaimed in surprise, "Ah! Abnormal! Abnormal! What are you going to do to my chubby appearance?" Reba exclaimed in surprise, retreated with a panicked expression, and looked at Su-han with caution. "No, listen to me explain." Su-an was also foolish when he saw someone coming. He never expected that there would still be people in this wilderness. Moreover, I happened to be seen by the other party holding a chubby hand. Oh my goodness, he just wants to know why this chubby time can be sold so expensive. He has no intention of doing anything strange. Suan quickly stepped forward, wanting to explain. Chapter 3. Self-certification of innocence. Dig out a million worm pets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You. Don't come over here, what do you want to do? However, when Reba saw Suhan's move forward, she was immediately startled. Turn around and run. Running and taking out my phone, it seemed like I was going to call the police. Suan panicked in his heart and quickly stepped forward to stop him. No, Reba, don't call the police. Listen to my explanation, I didn't mean to. I was originally going up the mountain to dig treasures live, but I accidentally found your black bag. It's not what you think. Reba hesitated for a moment and said with suspicion, are you live streaming? Yeah, look, my phone is still on, how could I possibly do such a thing live streaming? After Suhan finished speaking, he took out his phone and handed it to Reba from a distance. Reba took the phone and gave Suhan a wary glance, her gaze fixed on the phone screen. At this point. Live streaming room barrage full screen sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Is this Reba? TMD, old Sue unexpectedly ran into Reba. What kind of luck is this? Can it be that chubby one is from Reba? I don't know. If that's the case, then this thing is really a treasure. Old Sue, hurry up and sell it to me, I'll pay 100,000. Old Sue, don't pay attention to him, I'll pay 200,000. I'll pay 300,000 yuan to kneel down and beg for the original flavor of Reba. The audience was very excited when they saw Reba at this moment, and the white barrage kept flowing like a torrent for a moment. More and more people are finding hot shots in live broadcasts, and are flocking in. Various rankings Big Brother, even more rocket yachts keep coming. And when Reba saw that the entire screen was full of begging Suhan to sell her weight. My face was covered in blush. Staring at Suhan, he snatched away the chubby pussy that Suhan still held in his hand. With a shy and angry expression on his face, he said, abnormal. What? Suhan is confused. I've already shown you the live broadcast room, why do you still call him a pervert? What did the barrage in the live broadcast say? Suhan took the phone and immediately said, digging a groove. These sand sculpture netizens are actually vying for the ownership of Reba Pangci. Isn't this adding fuel to his fire? Suan saw that Reba still looked alert and called the police, covering his forehead helplessly. It seemed that he had to rely on himself to prove his innocence. These sand sculpture netizens are simply unreliable. And how to prove that you didn't do it intentionally can only be proven by digging treasures. Thinking of this, Suhan's gaze wandered around and soon discovered a golden light behind the nearby hillside. Suhan's eyes lit up and he shouted to Reba, wait a minute, I can prove that I'm a treasure digger. With that, Suhan immediately picked up the shovel and walked behind the tree that had just found the golden light. Suan looked at the golden light in front of him and dug directly. Upon seeing Suhan's movements, Reba furrowed her brows slightly and still had some doubts. Old Sue, have you forgotten that all you have dug up for a month is stones? Digging for treasure, are you serious, Lao Su? Suhan ignored the barrage in the live broadcast room and carefully dug up the soil beneath his feet. Dang! 2 minutes later, a crisp collision sound sounded. Suhan's face lit up with joy. Use a hand planer instead. In no time. A brown golden stone wrapped in soil, the size of a baby's fist, was dug out. Worm. Weighs 237 grams, worth 2.6 million. Sleeping slot. 2.6 million worms per pet. Suhan was slightly taken aback, shocked in his heart. So expensive. Got rich. I was a bit excited for a moment. With this insect, not only can he explain it clearly to Reba, but he can also make a big profit. Later, Su-han raised the stone in his hand and shouted excitedly at Reba, "Look, I said I went up the mountain to dig treasures, so I've dug up treasures." Seeing the gray stone in Su-han's hand, Reba frowned and refused to believe, "Is this a treasure? Old Su, wake up. This is just a stone, not a treasure." "That's it, Lao Su excavates stones on a daily basis. I'm afraid he can't explain it clearly this time. I feel like Lao Su has a strong affinity with stones. He can accurately dig out stones every time. Old Su, is this a stimulus?" "It's just a stone, okay." Su-han saw that Reba didn't believe it and explained, "This is really a treasure. Has Chonpa heard of it? It's worth 2.8 million. Editor. Keep compiling." Reba looked incredulous, even a broken stone could blow out 2.8 million. She doesn't believe it. Su-han still looked skeptical and said helplessly, "This is really a treasure. Don't believe it, let's find a place to identify it. If it's not worth 2.8 million, I'll apologize to you online, okay?" Su-han's words have just finished. The barrage in the live broadcast room rolled wildly. Sleeping slot. Lao Su's bet this time is a bit big. I feel like Lao Su might want a G this time. It looks like an ordinary stone, how could it be worth 2.8 million? If this broken stone is worth 2.8 million, I'll swallow it on the spot. I have reason to suspect that you are trying to trick Lao Su. After hearing this, Reba also glanced at Su-han a few more times and snorted, "I don't believe this broken stone can be worth 2.8 million. You must be bragging." Although Reba didn't believe it, she reluctantly agreed to follow Su-han's insistence and see if it was a broken stone. Let's see if he has anything else to say. Suan breathed a sigh of relief after seeing Reba agree. Subsequently, the two of them descended the mountain together. At the foot of the mountain, Su-han's motorcycle was parked, and the two of them immediately drove towards the city center. Chapter 4. Identification, Is It Really Bumblebee? You are listening at novelfull.audio. After more than half an hour, the motorcycle stopped at the entrance of an antique street and a cultural relic shop in the city center. Upon entering the store, Su-han, with his hot cup, asked the middle-aged boss sitting at the counter, "Boss, can you identify Amber here?" "Amber?" The boss was taken aback and then nodded, "Of course it can be appraised, but there will be an appraisal fee of 3,000 yuan. Are you sure you want to appraise it, young man?" The audience in the live broadcast room only realized that Su-han was not joking when they saw this scene. Isn't it? Does Lao Su really want to identify that stone? 3,000 yuan appraisal fee, Lao Su, please don't compensate. Madam, you'll lose your troops again. Spending 3,000 yuan to identify such a stone, this wave of blood loss. Okay. But Su-han did not hesitate. After scanning the code to make the payment, he directly took out the stone from his pocket and placed it on the cabinet. That's it, please hurry up, boss. Su-han is a bit impatient. After all, behind him stood Reba with beautiful eyes staring at him, ready to call the police at any time. Okay, young man, wait here for a moment. After taking the stone, the middle-aged boss looked at it twice and then put it into an instrument to clean it. As the instrument operates, the soil kept falling off the stones. 5 minutes later, the instrument has stopped running. The boss took the stone out of the instrument, wiped it clean, and placed it on the table. At this point, the originally gray stone, after being cleaned, has turned into a crystal with a golden color throughout. Through the light, one can also see what treasures seem to be hidden inside. Young man, you're lucky. This is indeed a piece of amber, and it's also a worm in the amber. The boss looked surprised and took out a magnifying glass. He continued to carefully examine the amber in his eyes and then said, "Young man, wait a little longer. The specific value needs to be polished out before we can know, but it seems to be worth a lot of money." Line. Su-han nodded, his face calm. "Is it really Bumblebee?" Reba, standing on the side, was somewhat surprised. "I didn't expect this unremarkable stone to be truly a treasure." But he stubbornly said, "Even if it's Bumblebee, what's wrong? It's definitely not worth 2.8 million. Over here." The boss took the amber raw stones on the counter to the back for polishing. Half an hour later, the amber raw stone was completely polished out. At this point, the boss excitedly grabbed the insect in his hand and walked out, the shock in his eyes never receding. "Has it been polished?" Su-han asked. "That's right, young man. You're getting rich now. Based on my experience, this insect repellent is worth over 2 million yuan. Speaking, the boss placed a crystal clear golden amber on the counter. "Generally speaking, ordinary insects are not very valuable. But if it happens to package rare and precious prehistoric insects, and the more complete the insects in amber, the greater its ornamental value will be. In this way, the value of Bumblebee will be higher. It's obvious. Su-han's insect repellent belongs to the higher value category, otherwise the boss wouldn't say that." After polishing, Su-han also saw the creatures in the insect repellent clearly. This is an innocent lizard that has just reached out its front paw and is preparing to swallow the mosquito in front of it step by step. Seeing that we are about to succeed. Unexpectedly, at this moment, a lump of resin fell from a high altitude. Accurately enveloping the lizard, it has become a buried specimen made by nature, preserving its morphological features intact. In an instant, everyone's gaze was drawn. "Sleeping slot. Is this Bumblebee? It's so beautiful. Brothers, my teacher who specializes in studying amber just said that the lizard wrapped in Lao Su's insect repellent is already the top of all insect repellents, and the package is so complete with no impurities, at least it can sell for several million. Is it really fake? In the blink of an eye, Lao Su is the wealthiest among us. I can't accept it. Although this insect repellent looks good, I can't see old Su making money." The true appearance of Bumblebee shocked everyone. Reba's mouth grew into an O-shaped shape, and a pair of deep blue eyes looked in surprise at the amber in front of her. This is the first time she has seen amber like this. The most common sight is a small bug trapped in it, which has formed over millions of years. This kind of insect repellent can be worth tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. So how much money Su-han, this insect, could sell in the end, she suddenly couldn't imagine. "Young man, may I ask, do you sell amber?" The boss looked at Su-han with a fiery look in his eyes, as if he wanted to eat Su-han. Upon hearing this, Su-han nodded and said, "Sell. How much can you bid?" He was originally thinking about where to sell this amber. Now that the boss takes the initiative to speak up, it saves him some effort later on. Unexpectedly, the boss waved his hand repeatedly and said, "I misunderstood. It's not that I want to buy amber. I can't afford amber of this quality. But I have a friend who is very interested in amber. If you sell it, I can help you contact him." Su-han said, "Then I'll trouble the boss." "Okay, just a moment, I'll go make a phone call." Chapter 5. A stone, 2.8 million. Crazy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The boss walked outside to make a phone call and came back in a few minutes. He smiled at Su-han and said, "My friend will come over soon." "Wait a moment, by the way, what do you call a young man?" Su-han. "Hello Mr. Su, my name is Lu Bingsheng." Su-han and Lu Bingsheng chatted while drinking tea. After about 20 minutes, a Mediterranean man in his 50s walked in. As soon as the man entered the room, he saw the crystal clear amber on the table. His eyes lit up and he couldn't help but step forward to carefully examine it. His mouth occasionally makes a clicking sound. Lao he, here he is. This is Su Han, and amber is his. After greeting He Yong, Lu Bingxing introduced Su Han, Xiao Su, this is my friend, He Yong. Listening to Lu Bingxing's introduction, He Yong quickly took 2 steps forward and reached out his hand, saying, hello Mr. Su, my dear He Yong, I really like this amber. Can you give me a price? 2.8 million. Su-an didn't even think about it and directly quoted the price given by the system. Line. He Yong readily agreed. Su Han was taken aback, wondering if he had quoted too little. Su Han gave his bank card number to He Yong. Shortly after He Yong made a phone call, Su Han received an incoming message. The audience in the live broadcast room was boiling when they saw it. I'll go. I really sold 2.8 million. 2.8 million. Just dig a broken stone on the mountain and sell it for 2.8 million. Old Su, this is just digging for wealth. Alright, I'll go dig for treasure in the mountains tomorrow. Seeing Lao Su making money is even more uncomfortable than losing money myself. Sour. It's so sour that my teeth are biting apart. You are really afraid of both your brother's hardships and your brother's mistakes. Is it really worth 2.8 million? Upon hearing this number, Reba was also stunned. She never expected that Su Han's insect repellent would really sell for 2.8 million. This is too impressive. She worked hard to receive notices, endorse, and film herself, earning several million. And Su Han. Just digging a stone on the mountain earned 2.8 million. Is this money coming too quickly? Reba even wants to go digging for treasure. He Yong took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to Su Han, saying, Mr. Su, this is my business card. If there are any good things in the future, please contact me first. The price will definitely satisfy you. Okay. Su-an put away his business card and nodded at He Yong. Then, Su Han chatted with the two for a while before leaving with Reba. On the way, Su-an explained to Reba, you see, I'm really digging treasures through live streaming. That was really not intentional. Reba heard Su Han say so. Suddenly, Su Han remembered the scene before when he was holding up his own weight. His face turned slightly red and he pouted, alright, I believe you. Don't keep mentioning me. About that. Upon hearing this, Su Han breathed a sigh of relief and smiled, then I'll treat you to a meal. I'll also apologize to you. Please be sure to show me your respect. You want to treat me to dinner. Reba glanced at Su Han and saw his sincere gaze. She pursed her lips and smiled, nodding slightly. Okay, I'm really good at eating, so just wait for me to spend money. Reba said and even shook her little pink fist, looking cute and playful. Su Han smiled slightly upon seeing the situation and said, it's okay, I made money today. Don't worry about eating, I'll pay. After speaking, Su Han patted the back seat of the motorcycle and gestured for Reba to get on. Reba didn't show any affectation, just put on her helmet and sat in the back seat of the motorcycle. Next second, Su-an increased the throttle, and a black smoke emitted from the exhaust pipe, disappearing in front of the antique store. I sat downstairs and smoked a pack of cigarettes, but I couldn't figure out why old Su could ride in the same car as Reba. There are too many things you can't figure out. Old Su will still have dinner with Reba later. Nema. If you know what to say. It's withered. Watching Reba sit on Su Han's motorcycle. The audience in the live broadcast room were biting their teeth to pieces. I wish I could pull Su Han off the car and ride him on my own. Soon. The motorcycle is parked under a relatively famous hotel in the mountain city. Immediately, the two entered the hotel together. Selected a private room. Call the waiter and start ordering. The protagonist handed the menu to Reba and said, "Don't be polite, just order whatever you want." "Then I can't be polite." Reba pursed her lips and smiled slightly, without any courtesy, ordering everything she wanted to eat. Ordered 7 or 8 dishes in full. Su-han was stunned. Is Reba really so edible? After ordering the dishes, Reba realized later that she seemed to have ordered too much and blushed slightly. She said, "Then I'll come and pay for it later." No need, I'll do it. This meal was meant to apologize to you, it's okay to order as much as you want. Suan waved his hand without paying any attention. After waiting for about 10 minutes, the first dish was served. Reba, who was originally somewhat reserved, completely let go. Picking up the dishes one by one, stuffing my mouth like a hamster, and occasionally saying something delicious. Suan couldn't help but take a few more glances. At this moment, he felt that Reba was completely different from the big stars on TV in the past, towering and possessing an idol aura. She embodies the simplicity, sincerity, and down-to-earth qualities of ordinary people. This makes Su-han and Reba very comfortable to get along with. Chapter 6 is trending. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brothers, that's all for today's live broadcast. See you tomorrow. After a meal, Su-han and Reba said goodbye, then greeted the audience in the live broadcast room and went straight to the next broadcast. He rode his motorcycle and rushed to the tax bureau in a flash. Find a place to park the car casually. I walked straight in. In this world, all the treasures dug up belong to individuals and do not need to be handed over to the country. Just need to pay a hefty tax. About 10%. It's not that high. Su-han now earns 2.8 million yuan and doesn't care about these taxes at all. Besides, he has a system that can dig up more treasures in the future. After paying 280,000 yuan in taxes, Suan bought many items in the mall again. Part of it is for parents. Good smoke and good wine. Another part is some household appliances. I was originally thinking of buying a house directly in the city, but I realized that the elderly are usually nostalgic. Let them move, it's better to rearrange and decorate the house, and they will be even happier. Leave an address in the mall for convenient delivery. Su-han rode his motorcycle slowly back home. The Su-han family is a standard 2-story small building in rural areas, with its own yard. After parking the motorcycle in the yard, Su-han shouted as he walked, "Dad, Mom. I'm back. Xiaohan is back now. Hurry up, it's time for dinner." The second old man was eating when he turned his head and saw the things in Su-han's hand. He was slightly surprised and asked, "What should I buy for the Chinese New Year?" Su-han smiled and moved his things to the living room, clapping his hands and saying, "Dad, don't you love drinking? I bought you a box of Moutai. And these gold jewelry. They're for Mom." The second old man looked at these things and didn't react for a while. "Oh my child, have you done something shameful outside? If you do, turn yourself in quickly. Mom and Dad will definitely wait for you to reform." "That's right, Su Jiarlang can't do those things." Listening to his parents, Su-han couldn't help but laugh and cry. "It's not like this. Dad, Mom. Am I that kind of person? I've been live streaming treasure hunting lately, haven't I? Today, I dug a piece of amber in the mountains and sold it for 2.8 million. Our family is now wealthy." Su-han told the second elder about what happened today. Upon hearing his own son's words, the two elders were already shocked and unsure of what to say. Why does this sound like listening to the Book of Heaven? A stone sold for 2.8 million yuan, which is too unrealistic. I still have doubts about seeing the two elders. Su-han simply took out today's trading records to make the second old man slowly accept it, but still felt unbelievable. 2.8 million. They farm at home every year, which costs around 10,000 to 20,000 yuan. To earn 2.8 million, it would take at least over 100 years, but Su Han only dug a stone and earned this money. What a great achievement! Just as the two elders were shocked, the delivery person from the mall arrived. They unloaded all the furniture one by one, placed it in the designated position by Su Han under the stunned gaze of the second old man, and then left. The second old man looked at the brand new furniture and was excited for a moment, unsure of what to say. I can only keep praising Su Han in my mouth. After chatting with the two elders for a while, Su Han returned to the room. Just as I opened my phone, I saw a message from Reba Weixin. Beautiful girl hero. Are you still digging for treasures tomorrow? Seeing Reba's online name, Su Han couldn't help but laugh. Su Han. Dig. After replying to this sentence, Reba had no news. Su Han shook his head. After browsing Weibo for a while, I suddenly realized that my live video was trending. On Weibo, a hot search shot straight to the top like a rocket. Shocked. A certain outdoor anchor dug up treasure and found Reba Pangci. Open the message below, the screen is full of digging slots. Digging for a slot. Digging for treasure, what the hell is Reba Pangci? I have a friend who wants to ask the anchor if the chubby one he found can be sold. He can buy it for 100,000 yuan. Classic reproduction, I have a friend, a friend born out of nothing, right? The anchor is so perverted, he even dug up Pengdi's chubby moments. Where is morality, dignity, and address? The comments are scrolling rapidly, with dozens of comments per second. Full screen full of envy. Su Han brushed a few lines, revealing a speechless expression. It's really just LSP per capita across the entire network. After a few glances, Su Han found that there was also a hot search for his own video. Shocked. A certain outdoor anchor dug up a stone and sold it for 2.8 million. Suan glanced and saw that the number of likes had reached over 1 million. And there are also many comments inside, my goodness. 2.8 million. I can't even earn it by working my whole life. Jealousy has left me unrecognizable. I have decided to buy tools and go up the mountain to dig for treasures tomorrow. Is this TM a script? Which broadcaster is this? I need to follow them and breathe in the European flavor. With dozens of comments per second, Su Han's face showed surprise. With so many people scrolling through the video, his reputation must have increased significantly. Open the system interface and Su Han looks at the reputation value. The original reputation value of 20,000 has now skyrocketed to 1.5 million. Great! With these prestige, he will be able to use the treasure hunting radar to search for treasures again tomorrow. With anticipation. Suan opened Timmy and nestled on the sofa in the living room, eating potato chips while using pesticides to fight in the canyon. At this moment it was raining heavily outside the window, playing with pesticides accompanied by the sound of rain. His Zhao Yun was 7 in and 7 out with great enthusiasm when suddenly the door was knocked on. Chapter 7. New treasure digging members. Reba. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Knocking and knocking. Who is it? Suan put down his phone, looking puzzled. How can anyone come to visit us in this rainstorm weather? He put on his slippers and got up to open the door. What caught the eye was the hot and drenched figure, with clothes tightly pressed against her snow-white skin. Reba. Why did you come? Suan looked shocked and quickly invited Reba in. Reba shivered and replied, I was going to leave, but it suddenly rained rainstorm, so I can't help but come here. Well, the weather is not good for driving. Su Han nodded in understanding and immediately saw that Reba's clothes were soaked through. He quickly said, come on in, go take a shower, don't catch a cold. Okay, sorry to bother you. Reba remained calm and, guided by Suhan, went into the bathroom to take off her soaked clothes and take a hot shower. Suhan returned to his room, found a set of clothes, and left it at the door. Reba, I saw that your clothes were all wet. I brought you a clean set of clothes. Ah, thank you. The sound of Reba came from the bathroom. Suhan nodded and returned to the sofa to continue playing games. 5 minutes later. Reba, who was steaming all over, walked up to Suhan. His clothes were worn on Reba, and now they were extremely loose. Every move he made could see them round and bouncing around. Suhan couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of water as he watched. The current hot bar is too tempting. Reba's face turned slightly red and she said, Suhan, thank you so much today. No, it's okay. Suhan took a deep breath, suppressed the impulse in his heart, and tried not to look at Reba. He pointed to the zero esophagus on the coffee table and said, can we have some together? Okay. Reba's eyes lit up. I climbed the mountain once and have almost digested my dinner. I happen to be a bit hungry. I didn't hesitate to eat it. At the same time, seeing the victory sign on Suhan's phone screen, he excitedly said, you also play with pesticides, let's double row. Good. Suhan nodded and, along with Reba's gaming friends, opened a double row together. Go up. Suhan, go up quickly, there is residual blood. 5 kills. 5 kills. Suhan, you're amazing. Today is the happiest day that Reba feels. The pressure accumulated during filming has been greatly reduced. At this moment, he was very close to Suhan. Suhan could even feel the temperature on Reba's body. I fought a few more times. It's 11 o'clock in the evening. Suhan said, it's quite late. I'll tidy up a room for you and come out early to rest. Reba smiled and thanked, I'll trouble you. The next morning. Suhan woke up early and as soon as he left the room, he saw Reba, who was chatting happily with Su's mother, and was taken aback. How did Mom and Reba get together? She whispered to herself before he could think much. Su's mother greeted him and said, Suhan, come and have breakfast quickly. Hey, here we go. Suhan responded and sat across from Reba to have breakfast. And when Su's mother saw Suhan wake up, she smiled mysteriously at Reba and said, Suhan, you and Reba have a good chat. Mom is going to work first. After finishing speaking, he put on his shoes and went to work. After Su's mother left, Reba smiled and asked, Suhan, are you still going to dig treasures today? Go ahead, this is my job. Suhan nodded naturally. Then I'll go with you. Reba was a bit excited and found treasure mining quite interesting. Especially when I saw the stones dug up by Suhan with my own eyes yesterday and sold them for 2.8 million, I became even more interested. She thought about it all night and decided to take a vacation during this time to experience the treasure mining life with Suhan. Okay. Although Suhan was somewhat surprised, he still nodded in agreement. So after finishing breakfast, Suhan opened the drone, connected to the live broadcast room, and started today's live broadcast. Finally, I waited for you. Fortunately, I didn't give up. Lao Su, you finally started broadcasting. Is this the anchor who dug up Bumblebee yesterday? That's right, I've been squatting on the anchor all night. +1, plus 10,086. As soon as the live broadcast started, barrage surged out like a white torrent. Every second, dozens or hundreds of bullet comments are brushed out. Densely packed. I can't even see it. Suhan was a bit stunned when he saw this scene. Why are there so many people all at once? Just 1 minute into the broadcast, there were thousands of people online. And it's still skyrocketing. He's about to take off. Suhan smiled and greeted the audience in the live broadcast room. Hello everyone, it seems like there are many new viewers today. Here we go, It's still the same old flavor, it hasn't changed. Old Sue said goodbye to all these things. Where are you going to dig treasures today? Are you still digging amber? Yes, we just came to see the anchor digging amber. The audience in the live broadcast room was very enthusiastic, and as soon as Soo-han finished speaking, dozens of bullet comments popped up in an instant. Looking at the bustling live broadcast room, Soo-han smiled and said, "Today we will continue to climb the mountain. As for whether we can dig amber again, it's uncertain." Speaking, Soo-han gestured for Reba to come over and smiled. "Today, let me introduce our new treasure digging member. Reba." Chapter 8. Secondary Scanning. Netizens envy Ma. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hello everyone, I'm Reba. As Soo-han's words fell, Reba's sweet voice rang out and immediately appeared in the camera. To dig treasures with Soo-han today. Reba clearly did enough work. She was wearing a set of assault suits, standing in front of the camera, looking heroic and completely different from yesterday's style. However, even if she was wearing a submachine suit, her figure was not concealed. Still very eye-catching. Sleeping slot. Reba. Live star. Okay, Lao Su, you're playing like this, right? Then don't blame me for spreading the truth about what you did to Reba Pangci. Why? Why would my Reba wife stand with the old thief, the anchor? Woo, stop talking, I'm already on my way to Dao Lao Su now. The audience in the live broadcast room is now filled with envy and jealousy towards Soo-han. The big star on the screen, Reba, surprisingly went to the deep mountains with Soo-han to dig treasures. This was something they never expected. Alright, let's not joke anymore. Let's start digging for treasure today. Speaking. Soo-han brought Reba to the foot of the mountain. Soo-han glanced at the reputation. After a night of fermentation, his reputation has exceeded 2 million. Without hesitation, he thought to himself, activate Level 2 treasure hunting radar scanning. Level 2 treasure hunting radar, capable of scanning all valuable treasures within a radius of 2 kilometers. As his words fell, a wave of intangible energy identical to yesterday diffused from around him, like ripples and ripples. This time, the scanning time is a bit longer. About a minute has passed. The system prompt only sounded. Ding. Scanning is over. The golden light on the interface in front of me is like fireflies, densely packed, constantly emitting my own light on the system interface. Attract Soo-han to dig them out one by one. You've made a fortune. Looking at the dense dots of light, Soo-han swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Quickly counting, there are a total of 30 golden lights. That is to say, this time, he was able to dig up 30 valuable treasures. Great. Soo-han, with a dry mouth and tongue, said to Reba, "Let's go Reba. Today, I'll show you the charm of treasure mining." Reba also grabbed a shovel in her hand and said excitedly, "Alright, go dig the treasure." Listening to the conversation between the two, the audience in the live broadcast felt particularly uncomfortable. Looking at the cigarette butts all over the ground, I can't even figure out where the difference between me and Lao Su is. Why did Reba choose Lao Su? Old Su knows how to dig treasures. Damn it. Isn't it just digging for treasure? What's the difficulty? Besides, Lao Su dug for a month, didn't he just dig up a treasure? That's right, if I dig for a month, I'll definitely dig out more treasures than Lao Su. Arriving at the first treasure trove, Soo-han saw that the number of people online in the live broadcast room had already reached 10,000. He chuckled lightly and said, "Brothers, prepare to excavate." Soo-han grabs the shovel and starts digging. The audience is no longer entangled in the excitement, concentrate, and look forward to it. Due to the rain yesterday, the soil was moistened by the rain. It makes it very easy for Soo-han to dig. It's just 5 minutes. The audience heard a clang. Then Su-han stopped. Sleeping trough. Did you dig it so quickly? Listen to this sound, isn't it amber again? Lao Su, hurry up and dig out the treasure. I can't wait anymore. Suan glanced at the barrage, chuckled lightly, and pulled the golden light out of the soil. Next second, a stone appeared in Su-han's hand. He also heard system prompts in his mind. Ding! You have dug up the Encyclopedia of Animals and Plants. Encyclopedia of Animals and Plants. Suan was taken aback for a moment, then remembered that the divine-level treasure digging system can not only dig out valuable treasures, but also system items such as skills. It's not even considered an air force. Under the guidance of the system, Su-han used the Encyclopedia of Animals and Plants. Suddenly, a wave of knowledge about animals and plants flooded into his mind. In just a few seconds, I integrated and transformed into my own thing. Suan just lowered his head to look at the various weeds and shrubs on the ground, and could recognize them at a glance. He could also casually state the scientific names and characteristics of these weeds. Good thing. After studying the Encyclopedia of Animals and Plants, Su-han's eyes lit up. In the future, when encountering any flora and fauna in the wild, he will be able to recognize them, and he is the walking encyclopedia of flora and fauna. Reba saw Su-han holding the stone in his hand and thought it was amber again. Excitedly, she asked, "So, Su-han, is this a stone or amber?" Su-han shook his head and said, "It's just a stone. Let's go dig elsewhere." As he spoke, he continued walking towards the deep mountains with Reba. "Suan, what kind of flower is this? It looks so beautiful." On the way, Reba suddenly squatted down, and in front of her was a plant with a yellowed stamen and tender white petals. Small, very beautiful. Upon hearing this, Su-han understood the purpose and name of the flower and explained, "This is a wild chrysanthemum, with many flowers in the mountains, and it is also a traditional Chinese medicine that can treat diseases such as hypertension." Wow! So amazing! Reba didn't expect such a small wildflower to have such a great effect. Chapter 9. Is this the happiness of rich people? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Subsequently, whenever she saw any flowers and plants along the way, Reba would be curious to inquire. And Su-han also smiled and answered each question one by one. This is ma chi jian, a plant that can be used for both medicine and food, mainly for treating. This is an August melon that can be eaten. This is. Listening to Su-han's answer, the audience in the live broadcast room was also shocked by his rich knowledge. Sleeping slot. Is this still a broadcaster? How could you know so many plants? Yeah, there are many things inside that I haven't seen before, can you recognize them? Shouldn't it be Lao Su talking nonsense? Did anyone come out and talk about it? I am a student of a traditional Chinese medicine hospital, and I have to memorize the habits, effects, and other aspects of various herbs every day. I just found out that the host is more professional than me. There are many herbs that even I don't know, but the host recognizes them at a glance. It's really amazing. Sleeping trough. Is it true? Old Su is just a walking plant encyclopedia. I walked for over 20 minutes. Suan and Reba climbed a mountain slope and arrived at the second treasure trove. Looking around. Here, there are dense shrubs and weeds everywhere. Su-han raised his eyebrows and his gaze fell on the golden light, shrinking slightly. On the golden spot, there was a plant that distinguished itself from other weeds. If it were before, Su-han would definitely have missed it as a weed. But after studying the Encyclopedia of Animals and Plants, Su-han recognized it at a glance. Polygonum multiflorum. Su-han was a bit excited. Polygonum multiflorum is a precious medicinal herb. There is also a densely packed area growing here. Immediately, he walked up to the Polygonum multiflorum and smiled, brothers, I have seen the treasure. Su-han crouched down, picked up a leaf of Polygonum multiflorum, and smiled. Do any brothers in the live broadcast room know it? However, there is still no waiting time for the audience in the live broadcast room to answer. Su-han revealed the answer directly. This is Polygonum multiflorum, but the year is not too high, it's worth 7 or 8,000. Sleeping trough. I just checked and these are really the leaves of Polygonum multiflorum. Damn it. What kind of luck is Lao Su? He found such a large area of Polygonum multiflorum, this is making a fortune. TMD, I'm so envious that my teeth have even bitten apart. Nema. Listening to Lao Su's tone, it seems like I'm not quite satisfied. I'm numb. Listen, people say no. Netizens are envious one by one. After observing the leaves of Polygonum multiflorum in Su-han's hand, Reba looked around. A large area in front of me is covered with Polygonum multiflorum. Densely packed. Reba was pleasantly surprised and clapped her hands, saying, Su-han, we're getting rich. There's a lot here. Excavation. Without hesitation, Su-han explained to Reba how to identify Polygonum multiflorum and the precautions for digging Polygonum multiflorum before starting to dig. Congratulations to the host for uncovering Polygonum multiflorum, worth 9,200. Congratulations to the host for uncovering Polygonum multiflorum, valued at 8,600. Congratulations to the host for uncovering Polygonum multiflorum. Half an hour later. Finally, all the Polygonum multiflorum have been dug up. This time, a total of 20 Polygonum multiflorum plants were excavated, with a total value of 170,000 yuan. Let's go, Reba. We've already finished digging. After putting all the Polygonum multiflorum in the basket, Su-han greeted Reba. But the next second, he was stunned. At this moment, Reba's face, clothes, and pants were all covered in mud, like a little flower cat. He couldn't help but laugh. Don't laugh. Reba also knew what she looked like now, and upon hearing Su-han's laughter, she glared at him. At the same time, my heart is still full of desire. Digging for treasure is different from any variety show she has participated in before. There is no such thing as a script, only excitement and anticipation for what treasure she can dig up next time. She really likes it. Okay, I won't laugh anymore. Su-han's mouth curved slightly, suppressing his smile. Looking at the location of a golden light at present, it is not too far from this mountain slope. The shortcut said, let's go to the next place. Okay. Let's go and continue digging for treasures. Reba was a bit impatient, urging Su-han to leave quickly. 10 minutes later. 2 people appeared in a forest. The vegetation here is even more dense. Su-han glanced at the position of the golden light and stopped in front of a giant rock. Take a closer look. Discovered a tender green plant growing on a stone, swaying in the wind. Reba, look. There's something good ahead. Where? Reba looked around, but didn't see where the good thing Su-han said was. Right here. Su-han smiled slightly and approached the small plant, carefully digging it out. The next second, the system prompt will sound. Ding. You dug it up. Ding. You've dug up the green bianliang. Bianliang green. Unflowered, valued at 150,000 yuan. After digging out the flowers, Su-han held them in his hand and explained with a smile, Reba, this is a green plant in bianliang, a type of chrysanthemum, very precious. According to the growth of this bianliang green plant, it would be worth at least 150,000 yuan if sold. Reba looked at the plants in Su-han's hand. What catches the eye is a plant with a brownish-purple appearance, with green and white flower buds contracting one by one. That looks like being shy to meet Reba. Reba looked curiously at the green scenery of bianliang, her eyes flickering with novelty, and said, how could this little flower bud be worth 150,000 yuan? How amazing! Listening to Reba's words, Su-han smiled and said, because Bianliang is verdant and difficult to cultivate, its survival is rare, and after flowering, it looks like a flower on the other side, extremely beautiful. As the saying goes, rarity is precious. You can buy Bianliang green for 150,000 yuan, but the price is not high. There are many flowers that are even rarer than it, and they can even be sold for tens or even millions. Listening to Su-han's words, the audience in the live broadcast room suddenly moved to Bumblebee. 150,000 yuan. Isn't a flower expensive? Is Lao Su joking? I can still understand 150,000 yuan, but what is the mentality of those who spend tens or millions to buy a flower? Is this the happiness of wealthy people? I really can't imagine it. So it's like this. Reba nodded with a sudden realization. At this point, Su-han also protected the greenery of Bianliang, and after confirming that it would not die, he put it in his backpack and said, "Keep walking, there should be even better treasures behind." Reba nodded. Continue walking towards the deep mountains. Chapter 10. Mudslides coming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soon, we arrived at the next golden treasure trove. Excavation. Su-han dug hard for a few minutes, then went down with a shovel. With a clang, the familiar voice rang out again. A common stone was dug out. Ding! Congratulations to the host for digging up the Constitution Potion. Constitution Potion. After taking it, it can greatly improve physical fitness and can be reused. As the system prompt sounds down, there is an additional transparent bottle in the system space, which contains red liquid. Is it a system item again, or a good thing to enhance physical fitness? Su-han felt a sense of joy in his heart. He immediately said to the camera, "Brothers, let me go and make it convenient for you to chat with Reba." Abandoning this sentence, Su-han ran behind a big tree, blocking the drone's line of sight. Take out the Constitution Potion, without hesitation, and drink it all in one gulp. Next second, Su-an felt a burning sensation all over her body, and waves of strength kept bursting out from deep within her body. 1 minute later, Su-an clenched his fist, feeling that he had endless power. Su-han happily said, "Okay, with this Constitution Potion, it will be easier to mine treasures in the future." After experiencing the benefits brought by the Constitution Potion for a while, Su-han reappeared in the camera. Immediately, dozens of bullet comments popped out. Old Su honestly explained, did he intentionally avoid us because he didn't dig up the treasure? But Lao Su is really awesome. He has been digging for several hours now and doesn't feel tired. Yeah, Lao Su's physical fitness is really amazing. Isn't it just digging some soil? That's amazing. At first glance, it seems like you haven't done any farm work. Try bending down for a few hours and you won't be exhausted. Ignoring the barrage in the live broadcast room, Su-han glanced at the remaining golden light. I dug up so many good things before. There is not much gold left now. And Reba's face was also tired due to high-intensity walking and excavation. Su-han said, dig for another half hour, and we'll go back. Reba nodded and lifted her head to rub her face. The next second, I opened my eyes and touched the water droplets on my face, wondering, is it raining? Su-han reached out and felt the rain on his hand. He nodded and said, it should be, we need to speed up the progress. Fortunately, it's just a drizzle now, which doesn't hinder the treasure mining. So Su-han didn't take it to heart and walked towards the next treasure trove with Reba. 5 minutes later, Su-an and Reba saw a mountain stream in front of them. The rain is gradually getting heavier. The patter is dripping. A hazy mist appeared throughout the entire mountain forest. There is still some distance left until the next golden light. But the current weather is not very suitable for continuing to dig treasures. Su-an frowned. Just as I was about to tell Reba to go back and dig again in the afternoon, I heard a loud roar. What sound? Suan looked towards the place where the sound came in confusion. I saw the distant mountain shaking, and a turbid stream of mud and water, like a black dragon, came towards Suhan and Reba from the mountaintop, mixed with mud and stones. Fast speed, strong power. All obstacles along the way were crushed and integrated into it, becoming its accomplices. Hey! Why did Lao Su stop? Yeah, won't we stop digging for treasures? Sleeping trough. Sleeping trough. Old Su, run quickly, there's a mudslide coming. Isn't it just a little rain? How could a mudslide form? I live in the same place as Old Su. It seems that there was a rainstorm last night. If it rains again today, it's normal to have mudslides. Normal chicken feathers. Is it time to talk about this now? Old Su, run away. The audience in the live broadcast room was shocked and they saw this behind the scenes. Barracks were fired one after another, urging Suhan and Reba to run quickly. At the same time, with the arrival of mudslides, the ground was trembling and Reba stood still, completely stunned. Feeling flustered in my heart and my legs feeling weak, I didn't know what to do for a moment. Her voice trembled as she asked Suhan, what should we do now? Suhan glanced in the direction of the mudslide and quickly scanned the surroundings. In just 1 second, he had a decision in his heart. Pointing to a densely populated area next to him, he said, run over there. Okay. Reba's face turned a bit pale from fear. Just as I was about to run, my feet softened and I let out a scream before falling to the ground. Reba's heart became even more flustered, and she shed tears uncontrollably. Tears streamed down her face as she said, Suhan, I can't run anymore. You can run on your own. Suhan said, what nonsense. Seeing the mudslide approaching, Suhan didn't care to say so and carried Reba on his back. Run in the direction that was already predetermined in your heart. The speed is extremely fast, and in just a few seconds, it ran 100 meters. This made the audience in the live broadcast room dumbfounded. Sleeping trough. I didn't read it wrong, did I? Is Lao Su running with Reba on his back? Is it fake? Can you still run so fast with someone on your back? I knew Lao Su had strong physical fitness for a long time, but I didn't expect him to be so strong. That's right, I feel like even if I don't backtrack, I can't run as fast as Lao Su. Reba pressed tightly against Suhan, her face also full of surprise. She didn't even know how she got to Suhan's back, she had already run so far. This man. It's too strong. Lying on his back also gives him a sense of security, without feeling the bumps of running at all. Thinking of this, Reba's face couldn't help but blush.